Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 133 of the Custom Apparel Starters podcast. My name is Mark Stevenson.
And this is Mark Vila, and today we're here to talk about opening yourself up for business. And I like this one because it's one of those tricky titles.
Yes.
And before we get into that, I'm in a different environment here. You can see the woods behind me.
Yeah, you can't lean back at all though, because you disappear in audio when you do.
Oh, do I? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then I'm here.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're still kind of doing some remote podcast stuff. We're having a good time. These podcasts have actually been going really well for us this way. I think we've been able to put a little more research into it without some of the distractions in the office.
Yeah,
so.
I think so too. And I just want to point out that Mark Vila, if you're watching this on video, that is not a virtual background. Mark Vila actually lives in a swamp, so you can see the wooded background right there.
Kind of. It's a cypress marsh.
There you go.
But let's talk about this, opening yourself up for business. So I'll do an intro, and then I want you to take over, Mark, for a minute. But what this means is this is about letting people know that you're in business, and the art of explaining you're in business, and removing the fears of talking about your business. So I think that's a really short summary. Mark, can you kind of dive into
I get it. What kind of inspired this is what was that I had a conversation with one of our listeners, and both Mark and I are always happy to do that, by the way. If you're at a sticking point or you need to talk something over, just let us know. But this guy, he's a t-shirt printer, and he was very reticent to tell people and to publish like who he was and where he lived and what he was doing. You know, the business is all word of mouth, but he really didn't want to say, hey, my name is Mike. You know, let's say, for example, my name is Mike, and this is what I do. Like, I print t-shirts. He didn't want to, really publish his address and go on Facebook and, involve his personal life in what is really his personal business.
Yeah.
So, and it just reminded me of so many circumstances where people are afraid to put themselves out there. They have a lot of fear built into letting people know like who they are and this is what I'm doing. And I think it's definitely a topic that our listeners out there should be listening to and taking a look at in their own business, because there's room for improvement for everybody.
Yeah. And so I think then it just starts off with one of the points the main point I would say is that we want to get out here is just, you have to tell everybody.
Yeah.
And it's easy to be being shy about your business is something that's actually real, and it's surprising in a way, because it seems like it shouldn't be, right? You should be really proud that you just started a business and you invested in this really cool machine, and it sounds like something you would want to brag about. And a lot of folks will want to brag about it and talk to everybody, but there's still a good portion of people who kind of hold it close to themselves for a lot of different reasons. And one of the points that we discussed before this was, a couple years ago, I had a friend of mine, or a friend of a friend, I should say, someone I talked to a decent amount though, and we were talking about podcasting came up, and almost by accident they told me they started a podcast like X many months ago. And I was like, why didn't you tell me? I do podcasting. I could tell you about it. I could show you the ropes. We could just talk shop, about what you're using. And I said, oh, well, I just think I don't know if it's going to be good. And I don't know if anyone's going to listen to it. And, fear. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to tell somebody who's a friend of mine that I trust that I'm doing it, because I'm so reserved about that. And then, so it was the kind of story I was like, well, just like talk to yourself then. If you're not going to do anything about it to get any listeners or talk to anybody or share it with anyone, like that's your cheapest and first customers right there, right? Or the people that are within your social circle.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to to draw too close of a parallel because it's definitely different. But if you've ever been part of a multi-level marketing program,
Oh yeah.
the first thing they do is they give you a sheet where you write down all of your friends' names that might be interested.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a separate category of people that you haven't talked to in a decade. I actually think it's a good idea for you guys to do the same thing, but I understand like I understand the reticence. I understand the
Yeah.
reticence because like a lot of folks last month, for example, that bought a digital heat effect system or an embroidery
Mhm.
machine or a DTG printer to bring it home, this is a side hustle.
Yeah.
So, they're spending 8 hours a day doing their day job, and then they come home and they're not sure how it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
They're not sure what people are going to say about them doing this, even though they made the big leap,
Yeah.
and that's a major fear. When you expose yourself, it's almost easier to expose who you are and what you're doing to people that don't know you
Yeah.
than it is
Yeah.
the people that do.
Yeah. No, that's actually a really good point. And one thing you mentioned about the pyramid schemes, I mean the multi-level marketing. I mean the network marketing. Sorry. The network marketing stuff is they make what they've done is they've caused damage to the person that we're talking to right now in regards to you've been just beaten up on Facebook Messenger by your friends trying to sell you Amway and things like that and get you to join their groups and all this stuff, and it's always very sly and shady and they don't want to actually tell you that it's Amway, or I'm not trying to pick on that one, but that's one that's happened to me a few times. They send you to a website that's not an Amway website, and it's very slick. And then
Yeah.
they're hit you and text you and you're like, gosh, I feel like I'm like swatting away a fly here,
Yeah.
and that's not what we're saying you should do, and
Right.
that's not even what a business owner wants to do, right? So they've kind of put tarnish to that, talking to your friends and telling your friends about it, and folks that you've known, say, for 10 years or you haven't spoken to in 10 years about it because you don't want to sound like that type of person.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
and
a difference there.
I gotta say that when we used to do in-house webinars, um, when I would do a class on marketing or something along those lines, I'd have everybody raise their hand if they, where their business comes from, if it was word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably 9 out of 10 people.
Yeah.
Most of you that are listening out there, most of your business comes from people that you know or people that you meet. So if you have purchased a product to make t-shirts or to do embroidery or vinyl or promotional products or anything, and you are going to base your business on word of mouth, that's your strategy, or you don't have any other strategy on how to get business, then this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Is, hey mom, guess what I'm doing? I'm making custom t-shirts. Hey, I'm at work having lunch with somebody. Hey, let me tell you about something cool that I'm doing like after work today.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and make custom t-shirts for 2 hours. Like everyone is going to want to talk to you about that.
Yeah. They're, oh wow, like screen printing, or what are you doing? Oh yeah, I had a friend that did that. You'll get a conversation started. So I think that what's interesting about it is some people will only tell like their friends or only tell their family,
Yeah.
or will want to keep it away from their coworkers or whatever it might be. They try to select and deselect areas. Um, and I think the point we're trying to make is the first point is you have to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. You just have to tell everybody in one way or another.
Yeah. Now don't get fired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
of course.
if you work at a screen printer right now and you bought a DTG printer and you're doing that on site, don't tell everybody at work.
There's an exception to every rule.
There are exceptions to everything.
Don't allow you to make up all of your own exceptions, but make logical exceptions, right? For one, if you work for a screen printer and you bought a DTG printer and you didn't tell your boss that you did that, don't be upset if you get fired.
Yeah.
Okay,
'Cause it's
right?
shady. It's a little
Okay.
shady.
Okay. So I'm gonna back that one up a little bit, right?
Okay.
And say, don't get upset if you got fired because it's a little shady. You should have been honest with your boss and set up a business relationship with them than not. And
Yeah.
then if your boss is the type of person who wouldn't do that, then you're probably better off that you got fired.
Mhm.
So anyway, so I think the first thing is that there is that thing that we said, where people do get scared to share what they're doing or starting, and I think it's for a few reasons. It's for one reason broken down into a few categories. So it's fear.
Yeah.
Fear is the main driving force between
That's
not
it.
sharing.
That's it.
That's it. There's really no other reason besides fear. Fear of being ridiculed, I think, is a big one.
Yep.
Right? Why would you do that? That's a bad
Well, yeah.
idea.
You'll never make any money at that.
Yeah. I know. So I know like 3 people who did that. They failed.
Yeah.
Whatever they say.
Like, you're not creative. What are you
Yeah.
going to do?
Everything is this. Every
Yeah.
business you have, you're going to have somebody who's a hater, who's jealous of you, that will put you down for this in one way or another. They're either a hater or they're a negative person or they're jealous or whatever it is. And they're going to say that. It doesn't matter if you got your real estate license, your insurance license, you started a t-shirt shop, you're going to get that ridicule from somebody.
Yeah.
So just expect it and wash it off.
Yeah. And, I can sympathize. So there's something in the online marketing world called imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Right. So if you're an online expert, like I've done classes on Google Ads and Facebook and, things like that. And for a lot of people, they don't put themselves forward because they feel like they're not really good enough. Like, I'm not really an expert at making custom t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll feel like a fake if I say I'm in the custom t-shirt business.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys just have to let that all go.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be, because that's going to be true as long as you don't tell anybody.
Yeah, right. It'll be true forever if you don't tell anybody. And especially for I would say anybody born in the 80s or newer.
Yes.
If you
Mark Villa just didn't want to say everybody younger than Mark Stevenson.
Everybody younger than Mark Stevenson. Now everybody, but if you're born in the 80s, chances are you grew up in some sort of a video game culture, and you probably, at least starting there in high school, online gaming existed, and you played with other people online. And there's a thing on there, if you're not familiar, it's being the noob, right?
Oh yeah.
You're the new person in the game that you stink, right? But everybody loves when noobs join in, because for one, they can show them the ropes, or they can just knock them down a bunch of times, beat them a bunch, and then eventually everybody was a noob, and then you grow out. If you play long enough, you get out of it. And so if you do jump into the t-shirt business and get yourself out there and you talk about it, you could say, I'm a noob. Yeah. I'm getting good. This is something amazing I just created. Take a look. Yeah. Here's something I didn't do well. Does anyone know why? I didn't do well, or, or you just, tell that story. So it's okay to be a noob because everybody was a noob.
Yeah, man. And let me tell you what's even better than just being, just admitting to being new is asking for people's input and feedback and help.
Yeah.
So people actually, in general, when they're not telling you you're going to suck at this, right? They're really kind of anxious to help, even, Mark and I, like I said in the beginning, if you're having a marketing problem, just give us a call. We're anxious to help, So if you are in business and you just got that, embroidery machine set up and you did your first logo, maybe you're going to talk to a friend that's in business and saying, hey, listen, I could use some help. I just started this. And I might not be good enough to get your company business, but could you give me some advice?
Yeah, that's actually, I like that too, is that I know that you have a friend who owns a restaurant and has 30 employees and they all have embroidered uniforms, and you own an embroidery machine, and you can't produce what they're seeing yet, right? And they can't afford to take that risk, whatever it might be, but you could ask them business advice. And you could maybe make versions of their logo and ask them their opinion on it. And you can, and most of the time I do find that, in my experience, if you ask somebody for an opinion or advice or whatever it is, most people are going to be nice enough to do it.
Yeah.
There's
And especially like we're talking about most of our customers that they're establishing businesses where they're going to sell locally.
Mm-hmm.
And word of mouth is going to be their primary marketing method.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about the idea that in that situation, people are going to buy from you because it's you.
Yeah.
They're not going to buy you because you print t-shirts
Mm-hmm.
or you do embroidery, because a bajillion people do that. That's not hard to find. They're going to meet you or know you or recommend you because you're, like, hey, I'm Mark Vila. I do this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
listen to it. Yeah, sure. I know Mark. I'll listen to it for a couple of episodes, and see what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Good.
what you're going to kind of use that familiarity, and that's what you're going to be relying on. And you can't do that if you're holding everything in, and
Yeah.
it's that whole thing with being camera shy, for example.
Yeah, and actually, I think we've got some notes even on that specific, so we'll dive
Yeah.
into that too, specifically being camera shy. But so if I'm going to dive back into the fear thing for a minute.
Yeah.
There's that fear of the ridicule, and there's also another big thing is fear of failure.
Yeah.
That next year you're not going to be in business, and you don't want to tell folks that you started a new business because you don't want to tell them you're not going to be in business, or that you're not in business anymore. So I just think that it's a real fear, but it's one of those silly fears. Because
so what's, if you think it through, so what's going to happen when they find out?
Yeah, they're going to think that you are a failure.
They're going to think and that's not going to impact your life at all. You know what I mean? That's not
bad at everything.
And at least you tried.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations, you've got that steady job at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
That you're going to have until you're 80.
No. It's your brother-in-law. That's an attorney, and he's a partner at a firm, and he drives a Mercedes. That's the guy.
We all know that guy though, and everyone knows what you. So then you would just say, well, let me tell you what I think of you.
Yeah. and so, but really, what I think it is for one, most people are going to be fine that you tried something and that it didn't work out for you, if that's even the case. Right?
Yeah.
Because it's only an if. And I talk all the time with my kid about ifs. Oh, what if? And I was like, well, can we stop talking about all the ifs? Because I'm like, what if a wolf comes up to us right now and starts attacking us in the backyard?
Right.
Oh, well, there's not going to be a wolf. Well, what if? You
Yeah.
know? So the what if lasts forever. It never ends. And then if you do happen to really, really try hard and it doesn't work out for whatever reason, you just be honest with people. Say, I gave it a go. I decided that being a small business owner wasn't for me, or whatever it might be, or I wasn't passionate about it. I thought I was going to be passionate about it. I wasn't. And that's okay. I'm happier now knowing that I really tried, and I realized that it wasn't a path that was going to make me happy.
And you could make up excuses. Turns out I didn't have the time.
Yeah.
Or you could ask that question of me for the 2 businesses that I buried.
Yeah.
I will just tell you it's because I sucked at these things.
Yeah. And well, for me, it's like, I've had thought over the years, Mark, you've known me, I've thought about trying to do something on the side of my own for marketing. And every time I start to do it, I get so consumed with thinking about the things that I do here.
Yeah.
That
right.
I minimize that, and I open up my work thing and I start typing in there
Gives you an idea.
That's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And then I said, this is what I want to do though. I'd rather, if I have 4 extra hours, I'll put it into here. And I know it might not give me 4 hours worth of dollars per se, but I'm passionate about it and I'm happy doing it.
Yeah.
Or like you said, you don't have time, I'm already putting 40, 50 hours a week into this one job. I'm not trying right now to spend that extra 5 hours doing something else. Whatever your excuse is, they're all fine.
Yeah. They're all fine.
That's the point. Don't be afraid that you might fail one day and what you're going to tell somebody, because you can literally you can lie if you feel like it.
Yeah. And once you're free of that fear, you can kind of let go of the idea that you're being embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
don't be embarrassed to talk to people about who you are and what you're doing, what you're trying to do, and even, like I said, what they might be able to do to help you.
Yeah. And that leads right into like the next fear is the fear that you're not good, or you're not going to be good enough, that you're going to tell somebody, hey, an embroiderer. Oh, awesome. Can you make me some hats? Sure. And then they get them. They're like, these hats suck. Right? Like that's the
Right.
fear, is that you're not good. And now you're again are an embarrassment. Not only are you an embarrassment because you created them crappy hats, but yet then you're an embarrassment a year from now because I told them I was going to make hats. They look crappy. Then now I'm out of business. Now they think I'm a loser. It
Right.
steamrolls. And that's like that's our own internal anxiety that we all have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it used to, like how bad is it when once a month we forget to put the links in a marketing email that we've sent out
Yeah.
100 times?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's all of these things that, it's almost that fear that looking like an idiot when you hit the send button.
Yeah. Yeah. We deal with it all. We deal with it all the time, and we can get that same anxiety when we publish a new website or a new article that maybe it's not going to work, or a new podcast, right? No matter what it is. So, again, I think there's the same thing where, so for one, if you are going to create something for somebody, if they're not happy with it and you legitimately put your best foot forward, the problem might be them, not you. And you can't allow that fear to control you. Because, for example, doing business with ColDesi, if somebody asks you to make a t-shirt, we've got everything you need to get it done, right? Like, especially in the beginning, you can go to the graphics service, get the graphics made perfect at ColDesiGraphics.com. Then you can order a good quality t-shirt that we recommend, and then you can print it and have somebody on the phone with you, maybe even on video, helping you print it. And then you've got to figure out how to fold it up and put it in a box on your own and deliver it.
So far, we do have a t-shirt folding machine coming.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you don't even have to do that.
Oh, my gosh. What's next, Mark? But also, if you do make a mistake in the beginning with somebody, that's okay. And you have to just be honest with them and say, I'm a noob. I'm sorry, but I want to make it up to you. But there's anyway. You can go on and on about this. You have to tell everybody there's nothing wrong with making mistakes, and there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. There's nothing wrong with failure. And honestly, like, you can't consider it failure, especially on the small scale. If you make a mistake with something or something, you made a mistake, you didn't fail. You just made a mistake. And this whole thing is about not letting naysayers control you, not letting your own internal anxiety kind of take over with all the what ifs.
Yeah.
And just put yourself out there, right? So rule number one would be you have to tell everyone.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Now, we had some stuff about being camera shy, which you mentioned.
Yeah,
I think this is literal and
naturally, it's something I can't relate to. So
yeah. So why don't you tell me your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
How did that come up? Because you mentioned it, and you mentioned it before the podcast too.
So I'm part of a bunch of these other marketing groups, and other than the pervasive fear of sending an email, which completely baffles me. Mm-hmm. There's just a bunch of people out there that don't want to associate or afraid to associate their image, like their picture and their video and who they are, not only with their business, but at all. Mm-hmm. Like we all know somebody, not Hannah. Yeah, we all know somebody Hannah. that's uncomfortable taking their own picture, or talking to someone that they don't know. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't like the way I look on video.
Yeah,
that will actually come up whenever we ask somebody to do a success story with us.
Yeah,
we've got tons. Believe me, we've got thousands and thousands of successful customers that are doing great work. And we'll talk to these folks, maybe you might be one of them, about doing a success story with us. And it's great for your business because we'll put links from our website. We'll send it out in email. No problem. Okay, here, just fill out this little form about, who you are and what you do. And then, send us a picture of you and your equipment and, maybe say something on video. Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so common. In marketing over the years, we connect with a lot of other marketers out there, and we go to these events, right? And it's a common thing you talk to all the time, is that getting people to create content for you is really hard.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem that way, right? Because YouTube has, I don't know, 8 trillion videos on it or something like that, right? Well, those like 8 trillion videos are produced by like 1% of the Earth's population, or whatever the numbers are. But that's really it. You can go to
Yeah.
YouTube and find anything, but talk to your circle of friends and the people around you. How many of them have YouTube channels they regularly post to? Almost none.
Right.
So people are scared of video. They're scared of taking pictures, of being in pictures, of posting things online. And so I think that this is a literal and a figurative thing, because it's figurative, meaning stop being camera shy about associating your business with you in the physical world, right? But it's also, if you have an opportunity to meet the mayor, get in the picture with them.
Yeah.
Smile. Take the picture and post it online, and then say, look at Mayor so-and-so, coincidentally with the owner of so-and-so's boutique, which happens to be me, and that stuff's cool, and there is a lot to say about why you see realtors and mortgage brokers and doctors and lawyers and all these people will put their picture out to the world with their advertising and on their business card and in their emails and things like that, because it makes it personal. They know who you are. They know who they're doing business with. And
those are great examples, because it's kind of the same thing. Like, there's no shortage of realtors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know 5 realtors personally.
Mm-hmm. I know 5 new ones every month, and 5
there you go.
realtors every next month.
And really, it's the same with lawyers and with other professionals that do that. These people realize that the reason that you're going to, if you don't have a relationship with them already, the reason that you are going to pick them and pick up the phone and call them is because you can relate to them in some way from their picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that, oh, Bob Smith, that's a cool name. Maybe I'll give this guy a call. No, it's Bob. He looks like my Uncle Bob.
Really? Yeah.
I want to talk to this guy. So I like that. It's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Those businesses know that if you associate yourself personally with your business physically, then you're going to get more business that way.
Yeah.
People are going to relate.
I agree. And I think that there's a level of association that you have to pay attention when it comes to marketing, advertising, marketing, and all of that. So sometimes an apparel shop will look at themselves and compare themselves to like Abercrombie, or a big brand like Custom Ink, or Amazon, things like that. And honestly, we hear that here a lot working at ColDesi. Amazon does this, and things like that. Well, you're in a completely different world than Custom Ink or Amazon, right? Or Best Buy, right? That's not the world you live in. The world you live in is much, much closer to that realtor or that attorney than it is Amazon,
right?
Or Custom Ink.
That's a great point.
So when you are taking a look at how you're going to do your marketing, it's great to say, oh, well, I mean, Custom Ink is doing this. Well, yeah, I mean, but they're a company that's grown for a long time. They have a huge network of people producing things.
Yeah.
They're not, a young couple in their apartment who have, a small shop space that they rent, block
Absolutely.
away. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's more like the dentist or the attorney who, who him or her and their buddy decide to go ahead and partner up together and then rent a small space a block down the road and then they're building personal relationships with everybody, and those personal relationships are turning into income and repeat customers and referrals. So again, I think it's great to associate pictures of yourself, get in pictures, post online, post videos, let people know who you are. Stop being afraid. Like, and I mean, here's the truth right here. This is gonna hurt. Is
Okay.
that it's gonna hurt if you like you don't if you think you look bad on video and you don't want people to see it. Why do you ever leave the house? Because that's literally how you look. That is how
That's
you
a great
look.
point.
Okay, when you
Your
go to the
friends all
store,
look at that all the time.
they look at that all the time. The person who married you
Right.
and decided to have children, they look at you. They looked at you
Right.
all the time and decided I should marry you and procreate with that person. So
Yeah. Hey,
so it's okay.
and you don't have to look at those pictures ever again, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
I never watch our podcast videos.
No, sometimes I'll sit there and watch a little bit of it, and
Uh-huh.
I fast forward through your parts.
Okay, thanks.
No, you and I and Hannah, we've all had to edit a lot of our own videos, and we've had to sit there and stare at ourselves over the years and look at it all. And then you get used to it, and you just realize I see myself in the mirror all the time. It's the same person. You know, I'm not going to say everything perfect every time. I'm going to flub. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to misspeak, and it's going to be on the internet forever. And okay, you know, like,
Yeah,
it's okay. I'm not. I'm always trying to head in the right direction. I'm doing good stuff, so there's nothing to feel bad about.
yeah. It's the conversation that I was in one of the Facebook groups, and this woman had posted about, she's got this small email list, and she's been considering whether or not she should send out a weekly newsletter for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know what to put in it. She doesn't know like if people are going to like it. And I think that's a big part of, you want to be liked, is part of all this. So my comment to her was to stop reading all these responses and go send an email.
Yeah.
just go send an email. We almost titled this podcast, "Shut Up and Send the Email."
Yeah. I saw, I remember early on, Louis C.K., the comedian, many years ago, when I first had seen him, or he first had a website or something many years ago, and I signed up on his email list. I never got an email from him ever. And this was like a decade ago. Right. And then one day I get this email that looks like a friend of mine just wrote me 5 paragraphs. And he was like, "Hey, it's Louis C.K. I don't even really know what to say here. So I'm just writing you guys. I have this album for sale online. I have a new website. I'm going to do this." And he just started just chatting, right? And it was way too long. And it was full of just kind of things that didn't make sense. And he made a ton of sales from it.
Yeah.
And he just decided to write something. And, it is easy because he's a comedian, so people can make fun of him for doing something silly because that's his job.
Yeah.
But, that's all he did. Another thing that you mentioned before about not watching stuff and seeing stuff, Penn and Teller.
Oh, yeah. Penn and Teller.
A couple of things. He has a podcast that I listened to for a long time. And 2 things I remember he talked about a lot was, 1, he never watches anything he's ever made ever, and he never will. He's never seen one of his specials. He's never watched one of his shows, besides like a little bit here and there because he has to for like editing or a sign off and approval. But even then, he'd rather trust somebody else.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, I am going to ridicule myself. I might not like the way I look. I might not like the way I said something. But if the people who are watching are telling me it's good and I'm getting good results and it's out there and it's already done, it's in the past, just go. And then the other thing is he doesn't read any reviews or comments ever.
Oh, that's smart.
Like, and it has to be like pushed in his face that he doesn't read positive reviews, negative reviews, anything like that. The numbers work. He has people that he works with that tell him, help him make decisions. So I think that that's one way to do it, is that you can post that video online of you making a shirt and then you put it on there and you don't have to watch it and ridicule yourself over and over again. You don't have to torture yourself if you feel you said something silly.
And don't spend all day on it. I mean, so these are the kind of things that we do. When we do our videos internally, we might do one more take.
Yeah.
We might do one extra, but it's not like we spend a lot of time rehearsing. You know, it's not like we spend a lot of time, you know, on, okay, did we say this right? Did we say that right? Go back and re-record it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, generally most of our stuff is, you know, if it's a 20-minute video that you're watching of ours, we've shot it in about 30 minutes. Right.
Yeah.
And we've edited it. I mean, the work, Mark Vila does a lot of work beforehand. I just wing it, but but I'm not actually
I
doing
feel more,
anything.
yeah, and
I'm
that
not actually
actually,
doing
that's a
it.
good point, right? So I like when you're bringing that up, right? Because there are two types of people out there, like me, Mark, and Mark, right?
Okay.
So I think Mark with a K, Mark Stevenson, um, you feel particularly comfortable about your idea of comfort is grab it, go, it'll work out. And if it doesn't work out, it's fine. I'll do it again another time, or I'll do it differently next time.
Yep.
And that's just like really comfortable for you. It feels good. And your content comes out well because it's honest and you did it in an environment that feels good. Myself, although I don't have a problem with that, I feel better if I just say, okay, let me go ahead and just have my art ready, have this in this place, this in this spot, this. So then as I'm doing the video, here's the paper, here's the
Yeah.
shirt, here's the art. It's all placed out and ready to go. And maybe even I've looked at the art before and looked at it with some detail, because if I'm going to try to explain what it is in 1 or 2 minutes, I don't want to spend 4 minutes figuring it out. I'll spend 2 minutes figuring it out, then spend 2 minutes talking about it.
Yep.
So you could do that in your videos if you're going to do stuff with video online or pictures online, is prep a little bit. You can print a practice shirt, you do all that stuff, get a good feel and say, okay, I feel pretty good about this. And then turn
Yeah.
on your camera, ask somebody to point it at you and say, hey, let me show you guys how I make a t-shirt. I can make one for you.
And so that's kind of another thing that we should mention here is when we say stop being camera shy and use pictures of yourself and shoot videos and things like that, we're not encouraging you to be, you know, Spielberg.
Yeah.
You know, what we're encouraging you to do is, like I had the conversation the other day, is, you know what, I mean, if you have on your Facebook page or on your Instagram account, if you get an order for t-shirts, ask your customer if they mind if you videotape you doing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you're going to get your phone out. You're going to point it at yourself and say, hey, this is Steve from Steve's Custom T-Shirts. I'm printing a small order of custom tees for XYZ company. Just wanted to show you what it's like.
Yeah.
You point it at the camera, the t-shirt comes out, you heat press it. Hey, that was fun. Hope you enjoyed it. If you need t-shirts, click the link below.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about you giving your history of why you started the business.
Yeah.
And, you know, no, it's 30 seconds to 4 minutes, depending on the topic. Or it's 5 pictures. I'm doing this order, click. This is my hand pointing at the shirt.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever it is, just go through whatever you're doing in one approach to developing this kind of content.
Yeah.
Where you're identifying yourself with your business is to take pictures or small video clips of you doing your business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you're talking to your friends about the fact that you started a custom t-shirt business. They're excited for you. Cool. Let me show you a picture of what I did last night. You pull out your phone, you know, and there it is. And that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. You're being public in every opportunity
mm-hmm.
and you're giving like visual proof that this is what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a great point, is when you're talking about like your friends being right there and you get to show them physically in front of you, you know, and it goes to, you know, you make a great point about being social. You know, part of that camera stuff that we're talking about, not being camera shy, is because you have to not be able to do that so you can be social online, even if you don't love it. So even if you're not a big fan of social media and you don't really like Instagram or whatever it might be, it is a tool of the business world now. It is a way that will make money. So you get an Instagram and a Facebook and a Twitter and a LinkedIn, and it doesn't mean you have to, you know, do all the things that you don't like about it, or that you have to tell your whole life story on there. I mean, that's
right.
the the excuse all the time. I don't want someone to know all my business. Well, then don't put your business on there. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm saying put your business on there, not
Yeah,
all your business.
not your business.
Okay, right?
Right.
So you don't have to post your address of where you live and pictures of your dogs and your kids and what appliances you own. You don't have to share any of that.
It's
But
interesting. That was an interesting example. The appliances.
people want to
Got
do
a new
that.
fridge. Click.
Yeah. Yeah. People want to do it. You don't have to do any of that, but you should have a business Facebook page that you post some videos and some pictures of you doing things, because it's going to help make you money.
Yeah.
You also don't have to have a 10,000 people following you and liking your pictures. You can have 0 people like anything you've ever put online. And I still say it's a successful social page, because part of the reason that you're doing it is that when somebody searches you on that social media platform, because plenty of people do that, they search for you on there, they find your page, and they look at some of the things you've done.
Yeah.
And then they'll see who you are. They'll see some of your work. Oh yeah, okay, cool. This person is legitimate. This is real. You know, I feel like this is a cool person.
Sure. And I mean, on the other hand, I've got a couple of dummy kind of business pages that I've developed as part of classes. Like this is how to do a Facebook business page.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll make one and they're still there. And like, I'll get 2 or 3 people that like my page that has almost nothing on it.
Yeah.
You know, every week, because Facebook is going to show that to other people that might be interested.
Yeah. And it'll grow.
It
will grow. Yeah.
And as usual, in this regard, Mark, I'm going to be a little bit more extreme than you are.
All right, go tell me.
I'm going to say, I don't care if you like Facebook or not.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're afraid of fake news or you think your account's going to be hacked, or, you know, I don't care about any of that. If you're in business, and especially if you are doing a local business and it's word of mouth is what you're relying on, then make a Facebook business page.
Yeah. I agree 100%. You should do it, because determine some goals, right? If the goal of your business is, I want to make the most amount of money without ever using social media, well then, okay, do it. Don't do it, right? Because that's the goal. But your goal of your business is probably, I want to be successful so I can build a legacy for my family and my kids, you know, or something like that, right? So the goal is to make money. Part of making money is being social. Part of being social is not being camera shy. It all ties together. It lines up.
Yep. I agree.
It's also good.
Notice I didn't say anything about Twitter. I don't care.
Yeah. And I just say, you know, just participate in them. It's going to take you somewhere. They're good for SEO.
Yeah.
If somebody searches your business name, if you don't have a website or anything else up, but you have a Facebook page, that will come up, and that will get them to you, not somebody else.
Right. And just to soften my statement a little bit, if you already have a personal Facebook page, you can start a business Facebook page, which is an extra one that is just for your business. It's got your business name and everything. And then you can, if you'd like, invite the people that you know on your personal page to follow you on the business page.
Yes. And then we have to, when you are on Facebook, the way you should properly do it would be you take your page and then you go on the side and it says, I don't even know what this says now, because it's going to change next week anyway, but it says like create a business page.
Right.
And then it says, who's the owner? And you say me, not necessarily only the business, but the owner of the business page on Facebook. Yep. And then now you have a separate page just for a business that's controlled by your personal Facebook account.
Right.
And that's how that's created. And that's how, that's the proper way Facebook wants you to do it. And you don't have to allow everyone on your business page to let you see your personal stuff. They're different things. There's a million security and privacy settings. Go in there and figure it out.
Think about it like you just opened up a retail shop on your street.
Yeah.
With your company name on the top. Just because you are writing the check on the lease and you're the guy with the keys or the girl with the keys does not mean that everyone you know is going to show up in your shop every day and talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, that's true. And that's true.
Yep. So, and that is a place where this is where you're going to do all those things that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
When you take a picture, when you do a little video, you've got a couple of great tips on here. Like if you post a picture and somebody likes it, then you're going to thank them for liking your picture. You know, to keep the interaction going. If you do that short little video clip of you doing somebody else's shirts and they let you, then maybe you'll tag them personally and ask them to share it. You know, which is so think about that process for, and I know we'll talk about referrals, but think about that process. Like, okay, I asked Mark if I could, I'm going to make him some CAS podcast t-shirts. I'm going to make 5 of them. I asked him if I could do a little video. He said yes. I'm going to take a video. Here I am. I'm doing these shirts. Don't they look great? I put the video up on Facebook. I find Mark's business page and personal page. And I say, hey, here you go. You know, maybe you want to share this and send some business my way. The alternative in the real world is you're going to have Mark put on one of the shirts and carry him around with you wherever you go and say, look what I did. You know,
carry me around?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
all right.
you know,
I like that. That sounds fun. Like a
fireman's carry.
Like getting married or something. So I love all that though.
Okay.
And I think we talked about, you know, making this personal and getting it out there. I'm not a big fan of when a really small business creates a business page and then the owner hides behind the veil and will and will type just from the business. We really appreciate your business, you know, or whatever it might be sincere. And because to me, you know, the way I look at it, I'm like, who's we?
Right.
You mean you?
Yeah.
Like,
Steve, I know you do this in your basement.
Steve, I know you do this in your basement alone. Who's we? Just go take your picture out there with your big smiling face, you know, and just say, hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate your business, because they talk to you. They know you. They ordered it through you, you know, just say, I'm the owner. I'm Steve, you know? And that's part of that. It just goes all the way up the line for everything from the beginning, right? You don't, not being afraid to associate yourself with your brand, with your company, being social, getting your picture out there, letting people know who you are, you know. It's good for business. There's a lot of, it's always fear that stops you from doing that. So speaking of fear, we wrote next in our little note thing here about not being scared to fail and kind of getting back on the horse type of an attitude. And this kind of like ties in, I think, all the way up the line from this stuff, right? Part of the reason you don't want to post anything on social is because you don't want your face on there, because you don't want people seeing you, because you're going to make bad videos and you're going to look weird on camera and your neck looks fat and you're, you know, like all the 100 things.
Why did you use that example? Because you can't see your neck.
Because I will not shave my beard because I've gained like 30 pounds over the past 3 years. And I will not look as skinny because my beard gets me longer.
I feel like there's some fear there that you need to work.
There is some fear there. I'm not asking you to judge me on it. I'm asking. I'm recognizing it. No, but joking aside, all of this, all these things up there are like this fear of some sort of feel of failure, and it's easier to do nothing with your business. It's easier to do none of the above and just say, well, what? Oh, if I would have just done that, I could have made $1 million.
Man,
you know, you're on you're writing your memoirs with all the what ifs.
Look here's the thing. You are going to have some small failures.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody in business. I spoke to somebody, I chatted with someone on YouTube. I answered their comment.
Interesting.
And they were like, I'm afraid I've heard, you know, that these white toner transfers crack after a couple of washes. I've got my machine here. I'm afraid to send out shirts because I'm afraid they won't like them.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, I get that fear. You know, I understand it. We put 31,000 plus people into business.
Yeah.
They're all printing shirts or embroidering shirts, and everything that they do, you know, that probably has something wrong with it. Not 100% of the people that get the product are going to give you a 5-star review.
Yeah.
You know, even us, and we're amazing.
Yeah.
don't
Well,
always get 5-star
yeah.
reviews.
Yeah.
I
One
mean,
person
Coleman and
said it
Company
was
got that
one.
average one the other day.
We got the average
I
review.
got
3
spun
stars.
me into
Average.
depression.
3 stars. Average experience.
Average
And I
experience.
was like, and actually, I broke it down and I said, you know what? This never bought from us before. Went online, ordered a couple cones of thread. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess what did we wow him with?
Yeah.
he bought 2 cones of threads. We put them in a box and he got them. Fine.
Okay.
So,
I mean,
but
that
you know, hey,
seems
look,
praiseworthy to me.
shirt right here, right? You know,
Yeah.
the shirt looks reasonable.
Yeah. Looks great.
You know, it's a white toner shirt printed in October 2018, 2019.
2019.
Yeah, last October. So it's a year old ish. You know, like, so it's like, so there, and no shirts last forever.
Yeah.
Jerk. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say like, what shirt do you have last forever?
Yeah.
Then you're not wearing it or washing it. So, but anyway, I mean, those are all real fear, and you can't say that to your customer, right?
Right.
So you have to, in that example, you know, you put yourself out, you try, you produce the garment, you send it out to somebody. Most likely, if you did your work on it and the logo was good and you did the process properly, they're going to look at it and say, "Thanks, I love it."
Yeah.
You know,
Happens all the time.
Yeah, it happens all the time. That's probably what's going to happen. And so it's much easier to not send the shirt out and not do business than it is to send it out and then like cross your fingers that they might not be bothered, you know. And then if they are, you try to make it up to them, and most likely you can. But if you don't give like 110%, 1,000% effort in your business, then like you're not going to make it. If you're constantly giving excuses and what ifs and what if I fail and I don't want to do this and I don't want to get out there and I don't want to show my picture and all these things, then every one of those is one tick off of your percentage chance of being really, really successful.
That's a good way to put it.
So
that's a good way to put it.
And then if you do fail or you make a mistake or whatever, you get it back on the horse and you try again and you do it again, and you're not actually a failure until you give up.
Yeah.
Right.
True. Which I've given up riding horses.
Really. I rode a horse twice. Once when I was like 10 or something like that on a field trip, and I don't know, whatever grade, 5th grade or something, where the horse had one of those U backs.
Oh yeah.
The horse
had
been ridden and was so old by 10-year-olds for its entire life that his back was like a U shape and my feet were almost in the ground.
Was its name Almost Glue?
Yeah, pretty much. And it went about it went like a half a mile per hour. It took about 8 steps. And then and then we were then next, you know. And then the second time I rode a horse, I was in I did it on the beach, and then the horse went into the ocean up to its neck.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then when you hear it breathe, it's frightening because it's so big, and the noise that it makes.
Was it trying to kill you? Was it an Equus kind of a thing?
It sounded like it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's somebody who knows about horses that listens to this that knows why. And maybe even will probably say that what I did was with a company that's cruel to horses. I don't know.
Don't call us or write us about that.
Don't call us and write us, because I've not, that was like 20 years ago, and that's last time. So I've given up on riding horses too, and I'm okay.
Okay. There. We have that in common as well.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So on the on your startup, I mean, there really are, you've got here two options when you first get started, right?
Yes.
You could be wildly successful.
Yes.
Which, I mean, we had somebody the other day that posted in the group that they got their first order and it was for 100 shirts.
Yeah.
You know, which is a cool $1,000, $1,500 in profit right off the bat.
Yeah. Cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And we got, you know, the other gentleman that I talked to has had his printer for, 4 or 5 months, and he just hasn't been able to get started yet.
Yeah.
You know, so whether you start off with a big bang and can't fill that order fast enough, or you start off really slow, they both can suck.
Yeah, they both can, and that's a good reason to not tell anybody you're in business, so you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about either of those
Yeah.
things.
Like, oh
Uh,
my God, I'm not going to be able to fill this order. Please don't give me your money.
yeah, yeah, and that's the thing, is that you get really busy, and then you feel like you're in the weeds, and you're stuck in the weeds, and you can't get out, and you don't know what to do, and it's gonna suck. So, I'm gonna not tell anybody, so I don't have to do that. And you actually, what's interesting is you don't say that like consciously.
Yeah. That's just the way
Nobody's
it
ever
happens.
said, I'm not going to advertise because I don't want to get business, because I'm afraid I'm going to get busy and be
Yeah.
stressed and suck at it. You just kind of don't do anything. And that's what's happening like deep underneath, until you finally like psychoanalyze yourself enough to realize, like, the reason why I'm not doing anything is because I'm scared of messing it up.
Yeah.
Or you're scared of failure, where you're 3 months in and you haven't got a single order, and that sucks. But you also get 3 months to perfect your craft. One of our Mark, who's been on the podcast, Mark
Yeah.
Bolitnikoff, who's been on the podcast, I'm pretty sure he said he didn't start doing anything until what, like 4 or 5 months after he got his printer,
Yeah.
and now he owns like 20. I don't know, but
He does.
but that's like an example. And he said, yeah, I just spent a bunch of time. I wasn't trying to like jump into
Just
getting a lot of business.
perfecting the process.
I was just doing the process. So in the beginning, you can tell people about it, and you're not getting business, and you just keep practicing and getting better. So when you get that first order, it's amazing and it's perfect, and you blow somebody away.
Yeah.
Or you tell people about it, and all of a sudden you get hit with 100-piece order the first day, and you take your breath and you get in the weeds, and you fight through it, and you don't overpromise and underdeliver. And then all in all, in the end, in both of those scenarios, the winner is the person who got started, and did it and pushed forward, right?
Yeah, I agree, because
So
you're still in business.
you're still in business, right?
Yeah,
So,
still pursuing that dream.
and I think we have one more thing about getting out there, which you mentioned about referrals. So
Yeah, and this is a big deal. That's the way word of mouth is basically nothing but referrals, right? Because it's people that you know that are talking to other people that you probably know, that are talking to people that you might know. So asking your friends and family and the people you go to church with, and the guy you met on Tuesday at the coffee shop, just say, hey, my name is Mark. I'm in the custom t-shirt business. Do you know anybody that buys custom t-shirts? That's it.
Yeah.
That is asking for a referral.
Yeah.
Hey, I do commercial embroidery. I've got a small shop in my house.
Yeah.
I'm just getting started. Do you know anybody that needs that? And like, no, but my cousin owns a tire shop. Like that's the way this happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you just
that
talk to
happens
people
all the time. It's everything, right? And we don't even realize how much we use referrals. I've read numerous things about referrals over the years, and how people don't even realize consciously how much referrals mean to them. That they ask their friends, oh, where should I go eat? Where's a good place in town to eat? Where's, oh, do you like that TV? Is it cool? Does it work well? Are you going to switch to that internet service provider? How are they? Mine stinks now. We like referrals, especially from people we trust. We've talked about that in the podcast a lot. And but it's filled with those what ifs again, and those fears. I don't want to ask for a referral because I don't want to sound pushy. I don't want to sound like that Amway person that doesn't stop Facebook messaging me, and then what if they refer me, and they refer me the pastor of the church, and I do shirts, and they stink, and now
you're going to hell. You're gonna go to hell. You're gonna go to hell.
And we're back to the what if game. Well, how about this? What if you buy a heat press and then you burn your ring finger, and then now your wedding ring that you're about to get married with doesn't fit on your finger. So when you go to get married, you have to put it on your pinky, and it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
No, but keep up with the what if game. You just got to keep going. It's hard.
Playing that
funny.
What if scenario is a good idea, because what if that pastor loves the shirt?
There you go.
And he goes to the national convention, and now every Baptist in America wants to buy one of your t-shirts.
Yeah.
You do the same, like you sell 5 shirts to this rich guy that you know that owns 3
Mhm.
companies, and you
Yeah.
were scared like crazy because you didn't think he was going to like them. They weren't going to be good enough. He loves them. And now you've got 3 new commercial accounts.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
it's
those are
so
the what if games
yeah,
I support.
that's it. And if you listen to motivational speakers and business professionals and salespeople and all stuff like that, that's part of what they tell you to do, right? Is to play up all those positive thoughts. Today I'm going to
Yeah.
get up, I'm going to make a sale, I'm going to do something great, you know, I'm going to write the best article at it. And they tell you to play these games of talking all the what ifs up, and they're not what ifs, they're, you know, they take it a step further and say I'm going to.
Yeah.
But it is true, it is, you can spin that what if game into a positive what if game. You know, what if I listen to episode 132 and I pick up the phone tomorrow and I call
What?
and I get a client that gives me an order that's a $1,500 profit
Yeah.
this month. On the 31st, I do that. You know?
Listen, I've got some early homework. I know that's
All
usually
right.
your job, but I've got
No,
some
no,
early
you've been
homework.
doing the homework lately. It's been
Got some
better
early
than
homework.
mine.
Is I want you to tell 10 people that you know that don't know you're in the business all about
Okay.
it.
Yeah, that's great.
That's really just like, think of everybody that you know
Mm-hmm.
and make sure, just give them a call and say, hey, you know what? I forgot to tell you
Yeah.
that I've been doing this for like 3 months. I don't know why I keep slipping my mind, but I made an amazing shirt today. I thought of you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's great.
or I know you failed at 3 businesses yourself, Mark Stevenson, but I'm trying. I want you to help.
Yeah.
Here, you know.
Right. So I think that's great. I think it is a good idea to call and email or tell in person or whatever it is. I think 10 people is a great number to start with. Find
Yep.
10 people you haven't told yet. And you don't have to be a pyramid scheme type of, I mean, network marketing type of seller. You know, you just let them know what you're doing. And then you say,
Yeah.
hey, this is what I do. I wanted to let you know I keep forgetting. You know, I made a fishing shirt for somebody the other day. I know we used to always talk about fishing, made me think about you, and I keep forgetting to tell you. If you know anyone,
Yep.
you know, I'm trying to grow this thing. I think it's legit. I actually have a commercial embroidery machine in my living room right now,
Yeah.
you know, or whatever your scenario is. I actually just signed a lease and on a little industrial space that I'm opening up that I have a shop. I have a real shop now. So I'm trying to get business. If you know anybody, old friend.
Perfect.
You know?
Perfect.
Remember that one time that I donated plasma for you?
Remember that one time I came up with the bail money at the last minute? Remember that?
Yeah.
Right. That's great.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. So I think that's good. You know, Mark, this like the credit on this concept is goes to you, and I'm really glad that you mentioned this because it's really something that it's very real, and I don't want to describe it as a problem, but it's a real thing out there that stops folks from giving themselves their own opportunity. Right? Some people are scared because they don't want to sign a lease. Right? They're afraid of the money. And
Yep.
some people are afraid of the commitment or afraid that they can't learn or whatever it might be. But other folks are just afraid to put themselves out there. And that's a big one too. And it's important to talk about it because if you get past it, I mean, you can really win.
Man, I'll tell you what, if you go to the podcast notes and
Mm-hmm.
just read Mark's summary of everything that we've talked about and see which one of these areas you can see yourself in.
Yeah.
And then, you know, do your best to overcome that.
Yeah.
And,
And do the 10.
You'll be happier
the 10.
too. I mean, you'll be happy.
Yeah. You'll be much happier getting out there. I know that when I first had to kind of do some video for work, you know, many years ago before here, you know, I felt shyer. I felt, you know, I felt a little more intimidated about speaking in front of people even, you know, a long time ago, but I can remember that memory. And
Right.
then after you do it, like I'm never scared to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so it helps him doing these things help to improve who you are, and they make you a little more confident, make you feel good, and then you'll find your zone.
Yeah. Cool. I like that. All right. Thanks everybody. This has been Mark Stevenson
and Mark Vila.
You guys have a great, not shy business.
All right.